Good evening, everyone. So, we are going to have a session on water smart solution and strategies by Administrative Staff College of India. And the speaker for this session is Professor V. Srinivas Charya. Welcome, sir. Professor Srinivas Charya is the director at the Administrative Staff College of India, a premier institution for public policy and capacity institution for public policy and capacity development in India. He leads the Urban Governance Environment Water and Sanitization Program. He is an urban environmental planner and public health engineer with over 2 decades of experience in urban infrastructure and service delivery. He supported Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs, Government of India by undertaking independent appraisals of city development plans and smart city proposals. Also, he cites in Government of India reinventing the toilet program and National FSSM Alliance. He has also been conferred to Ashoka Fellowship for his innovation in the wash sector. Welcome, sir. On the behalf of entire C4Y team, I welcome you in this session. Over to you, sir.
Okay, thank you so much, Alkaji and all the colleagues on this fellowship program. I'm extremely sorry for this back and forth, in terms of my schedule, but I'll try to catch up with whatever I have missed out. I enjoy interacting with all of you. I have shared a couple of presentations, so let me just as a backup, if one of your colleagues can open the first one, which is a brief about Administrative Staff College of India. Just I will give you a little bit of what we do and what is our approach to sustainable development goals, promoting sustainable development goals in India, particularly SDG 6.2, 6.3. So can somebody upload the PPT please from your end?
We are doing it, it is downloading it, we received it.
Okay. So, in the meantime, let me just start. So friends, I come from an institute established way back in 1956. One of the first management institutes for civil servants, primarily when British left, there was a felt need to have a training academy for practicing managers both in the public sector as well as in the private sector. So that was the time when most of the civil servants used to go abroad for training. Now there was a felt need to have an India institute, so that's where ASCI was established. Like any other management schools, we have multiple verticals, and one of the strong focus area is urban development and water and sanitation. These are some of our areas of interest, and water and sanitation is one of our very important area, one of the flagship initiative of ASCI, and I would be focusing on water and sanitation related initiatives. Now, what we do, we are not just a training academy. Our focus is that recently we went through a lot of visioning exercise, and we came up with our vision statement, which is what is our purpose, what is it we want to do. So we have agreed that we will support governments in achieving sustainable development goals, and please remember that we have just 9.5 years before 2030. So we don't have a luxury of I would say long period to bring this change. This is just about ASCI. I will circulate to all of you. We do a lot of training programs, we do a lot of advisory services to national and state and local governments. A lot of India and overseas participants undergo training program. Next slide. As I said, there are multiple centers, but the center where I am going to focus on and I would discuss with you our activities is a Center for Urban Governance, within which, next, we have a very strong program called Institute for Wash Excellence. This is a very focused thematic area, and our purpose is to support governments and associate stakeholders, both government and non-governmental actors, in achieving SDGs, particularly SDG 6.2, 6.3. Now, our aspiration is that 50 million people in urban areas, especially women and children, will have access to safe, equitable and sustainable wash by 2030. So it's a very, very ambitious goal that we have established for ourselves, which is about 10% of the urban India is what we are trying to target. So we are not just targeting Telangana or Andhra or XYZ state, but 10% of urban India is what our aspiration, and we just have about 9 years. So we went back, we thought through, we invited a lot of people and shaped up an agenda. A blueprint has been developed at ASCI for achieving SDGs on a mission mode. So what do? We help national and state governments in shaping up policies. For example, we work with Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs and various ministries, in particular water and sanitation related ministries. For example, Swachh Bharat Mission 2.0 is coming up soon. Then Jal Jeevan Mission, Smart City Mission. So we work and assist governments in shaping up policies. For example, when Swachh Bharat was announced, Swachh Vidyalaya program, Purashkar was, Swachh Vidyalaya was another important subcomponent of Swachh Bharat mission. What it means is, unless and until we reach water and sanitation services to each and every school in the country, then India can never aspire to become Swachh. So we work with Ministry of Human Resource Development in shaping up that particular program. That is one area. The second area is capacity building. So we provide a lot of training and hand-holding support to state and national and local governments in pushing the programs like Swachh Bharat Mission or Jal Jeevan Mission or any other activities, state or local level activities. Third is about wash advocacy. For example, when I speak about my next presentation, there was a very important subject which was not dealt by the governments, which is about when toilets were built, nobody thought about waste treatment after toilets. So we ran a lot of campaigns. We worked with the ministries, we worked with NGOs, we worked with a number of stakeholders, development partners like Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation and many other GIZ and other partners to highlight the importance of wastewater treatment. Not just wastewater treatment from a sewerage system, but from toilets, the septic tanks and leach pits that were built. So I will speak a little about that. Then we work with innovations. So this is another area. We work with a lot of startups. We believe that if India has to achieve the ambitious goal of sustainable development goals by 2030 in water and sanitation space, governments alone cannot do it in a business as usual way. We need lot of innovations, be it in the area of water, be it in the area of municipal solid waste management, be it in the area of plastics. And we work with a lot of startups, innovators, and connect them to the government departments, connect them to various other development partners so that they get accepted, and then they can implement projects and programs. So we work very strongly, very closely with a number of startups. We created a platform for startups, young colleagues who have a lot of ideas, lot of interest, but they don't know how to work with the government and achieve scale. I'll give you one example. There's a startup which is working in Telangana right now. She does soaps and agarbattis from flower waste. Now every temple, every religious institutions, they generate loads and loads of flower waste. Now this waste will go into a municipal dump site or it will go into a nala. Now why should it go? A flower waste which is called holy waste, why should it be dumped in municipal dumping ground and waste resources? So this lady, young entrepreneur, she created a solution to convert flower waste into agarbattis and soaps. Now she did all this work, but she doesn't know how to connect, how to organize all this. So we connected the governments and the startups, and then now she is accepted by the government, and the government has issued a circular to all the municipalities in Telangana to introduce this program through self-help group members, SHG members. So her name is, the organization's name is Holy Waste. The organization name is Holy Waste. They work with a number of municipalities and then convert flower waste into a useful product. This is circularity. So we created a platform for young colleagues, young entrepreneurs, young startups to come and collaborate with us so that we can help them to take their idea to achieve scale. And there are a number of examples. For example, a very young colleague who passed out of BTech, she did a very interesting segregator of waste, because one of the big problem you probably heard in newspaper, Indore is very successful in municipal solid waste management because the citizens, they segregate the waste, which is not true in many urban areas, many local government areas, you know. So what she does is, the mixed waste come to her, she has a solution which will segregate the wet waste and the dry waste instantly. Now that's a fantastic model, and we connected her to a number of places, and today she announced that she won a big award and a project in under Namami Gange mission. Some of the towns, Haridwar and Rishikesh, they have this problem of mixed waste, so her solution is introduced. So lot of best ideas are available in young entrepreneurs, but they don't know how to scale, achieve scale. So we created this platform which will enable them to connect with the governments to achieve scale. So we do a lot of these activities. Next slide. Now, as I said, we provide the role of a sector influencer or advisory service, but we also provide technical assistance. And finally, as I said, Innovation Hub is one such example. I've given you one or two examples. So these are 5 important areas that ASCI is associated. It is not just a training program, but we carry out a number of activities to achieve scale, and that's what Alkaji was talking about. Now, achieving scale requires a lot of agility. Achieving scales requires the ability to work at the policy level as well as at the ground level. So that is what I think we try to do, and we are fortunate, we have been lucky that we could do it in certain areas. And I would speak about an interesting initiative that we started and that has achieved scale. And I would like all of you to start thinking about how to achieve scale with an idea that you have, a good idea you have, but how do you take it up in an amplified way so that more and more people get positively benefited. So I would take one example and demonstrate to you some of the work that we do, but also this is a work of the government right now. It is not about ASCI or XYZ, but it's a work of the government. So I would like the next presentation, which is on FSM, to be opened, please. It's called fecal sludge and septage management. And friends, you can, if you want to ask any question, feel free. You can raise your hand, and then we can, have a quick, very sharp question answer. I know time is precious, but feel free to intervene whenever it is you think it's not really, you're not able to get it. So this is one example of a combination of advocacy leading to implementation, leading to scale. Okay. Now, what happened, as you know, this is called fecal sludge and septage management in India. This is very important area. I will explain to you why it is important. Next slide. Yeah. So if you see, many of you, probably Alkaji would have introduced to you, when we speak about water and sanitation, we need to have a goal post. We need to have some reference point. Often we use sustainable development goal as a reference point, or service level benchmarks as a reference point. Now, if you look at Sustainable Development Goal, which I'm sure many of you have gone through. One of the goal 6.2.1 is about ensuring that all population have improved sanitation facilities, which is not shared with other households. It means what? It means individual toilets at home. A boy, a girl, or a child, or a woman or men, they need not go out to a community toilet or go out to a common place, but ideally it should be at home. That is what is SDG is all about. It is about individual household toilet. It's not just about toilet provision, mind you, and where excreta produced is either treated or disposed in situ, that is at the place where it falls, or stored temporarily and then emptied and transported to treated offsite infrastructure, or through a sewer system, whichever is appropriate. On top of it, 6.2.1.b is about ensuring that every person washes their hands with soap and water on premises. These are very, very important things. If you want to have good public health, it is like a tripod. You need good quality water supply, you need to have good quality sanitation, and you need to have good quality hygiene. If I remove one leg, the public health as a tripod collapses. So our goal at ASCI and also from SDG point of view is about safe toilet provision, individual toilet provision, but also the waste coming out of the toilet is safely treated in situ or outside. Okay, that is the target, that is our goal for public health improvement. Next. Now with this goal, what national government has done under Swachh Bharat mission, they have built, provided financial incentives, created Jan Jagruti, Honorable Prime Minister से लेके सब मंत्री जी, लोकल लेवल, ग्रास रूट लेवल, सब आईसी कैंपेन्स करते हुए हर घर में जो है, जो पहले ओपन डेफिकेशन करते थे, अभी नाउ दे हैव ए टॉयलेट एट होम. Not everyone, but more or less, we have reached 100% saturation already. We have built lots and lots of individual household toilets. In urban areas alone, we have built more than 5.5 billion individual household toilets. On top of it, we have also built lot of public and community toilet. कहीं जगह पे जो है space होता नहीं है, कहीं जगह पे जो है उनके पास उतना facility नहीं है, उतना पैसा नहीं है, whatever may be the reason. So for their purposes, community toilets and public toilets were built. Now we have 4,021 urban local bodies. This data is a little old, 2020. Now almost all of them, except couple of ULBs, but by and large, all urban municipalities, urban areas are ODF, open defecation free. We know this, and this is India's biggest achievement globally, if you see, and we should all be proud of, and we can't imagine in 5 to 6 years we could ramp up. Now the question is, next slide, is it good enough? Is it good enough? Now we realize that it is not good enough. Next slide, please. We need to do what is called, is it enough from a sanitation point? From SDG point of view, as you said, as we have read, just providing toilet at home is not good enough. It has to be safely contained. And as we know, this toilet, septic tanks or pit latrines, they get full over a period of time. They get full, and this waste goes out, and then it is discharged in open nalas and drains and water bodies and open fields. So it is an indirect form of open defecation that's happening, which we have to work towards avoiding it. So while India has achieved ODF by 2019, the problem is not solved, and we should remember this. Next slide. So what we started doing now is what is that we should do to make sure that we provide safe sanitation from health point of view. Pani chahiye, sanitation bhi chahiye. Now, here we are discussing about sanitation. Now, what is that we have to do in addition to provision of toilet? Next slide. There are two options. Some of you are engineers, some of you are environmental science background people, some of you are environmentalists. There are two approaches that we use. One is ये जो फ्लश करते हैं हम लोग गंदा पानी टॉयलेट का पानी जो फ्लश करते हैं which has feces, which has washings, we take it out through a network of pipes called sewer systems. This is called conventional sewer systems. ये बड़े बड़े शहरों में Hyderabad, Bangalore, Delhi and couple of places you have partial sewerage system. Now in many places more than 70% of urban India and 99% of rural India do not have sewer systems. It means they don't have underground drainage, they don't have pipe networks. So what happens? Now citizens under Swachh Bharat or even before, they have built what is called non-sewer system, which is typically septic tanks in urban areas and in the villages and rural areas, single pit, twin pit toilets बनाते हैं. इसको बोलते हैं on-site sanitation systems. और sewer system को बोलते हैं off-site sanitation systems. This is on-site systems. Next slide. Now, what is the problem with we can move a little fast. Next slide. Next slide. Next. Yeah. So what happens now? We will go one step at a time. So in a city like Hyderabad, for example, or Delhi or Bangalore or big city, बड़े शहरों में क्या होता है? थोड़ा core area में sewerage system बन जाता है. मगर शहर तो बड़ो expand हो रहा है. Then what happens? Then we have these gated communities. Next slide. Just press once. Then we have these gated communities. वहाँ पे छोटे-छोटे networks बन जाते हैं. So they have their own decentralized sewer systems. Then in other parts, next slide, one more press. In other parts, as the city expands, you have on-site systems. So core area में sewerage system बना दिया historically, मगर जो semi peripheral areas है और surrounding areas जो हैं शहरों में ये पूरा on-site systems बनाते हैं. Because people have no choice. Because sewer system is not available. Next. Then कभी-कभी slums में जो है on-site pit toilets बनाते हैं. Now these toilets, on-site toilets. Next slide. Next slide. Next. So what is the advantage or disadvantage of a conventional sewer system with on-site system? Conventional sewer systems are very expensive. रोड को निकालना है, फिर वो पाइपलाइन लगाना है, फिर उसके बाद रोड को कम you have to close the whole thing. Then you need to connect to the household. Then you need lot of water because sewer systems only can work only when you have large quantity of water to flush it. Some of you are civil engineers, इसको बोलते हैं scouring velocity चाहिए. So you need capital cost, you need high O&M cost, you need high quantity of water, you need high technical human capital. Now because of that, conventional sewer system is now globally, people are thinking, they're questioning the sewer systems. Now they are going for on-site or non-sewer systems. Like mobile, earlier telephone used to be networked. वो तार होते थे, telephone cable, all this तमाशा. Now you have a mobile which is non-networked. Yeah. Even electricity is going for non-network solutions. Nowadays, decentralized energy. Suppose I have a house, the energy that can be generated and captured through solar energy can drive my house, my requirements, completely decentralized. So what is happening is the conventional sewer systems are very expensive. Hence, many citizens, many countries, even developed world, are thinking of non-sewer sanitation. Next slide. And that's what Swachh Bharat did. Swachh Bharat has built a lot of toilets. Now these are individual household toilets, on-site systems. Now the problem is, next, as I explained, continue. The problem is, ये जो on-site systems जो हैं बढ़ते, they get full. Now you can see, when we started working in a town called Warangal near Hyderabad, and we saw that people are, it's an indirect form of manual scavenging. So when the toilet gets full, the household calls a number. This desludger will come. They will put the pipe, suck out the waste, and fill the tank and take it and put it in a nala or a drain. Now you can see they are not wearing any personal protective equipment. There is no safety gear, and then they are exposed to pathogens. Next slide. Next slide. Yeah, so you can see when this tanker is full, it has to be disposed somewhere. So what we did, we try to track where is this waste going, and we found that this waste is dumped in a river, which is actually connected to the drinking water source used in summer period. इसको बोलते हैं summer storage tank. So this septage, which coming from septic tanks, on-site toilets, which we have built under Swachh Bharat mission, they get full over a period of time. It is evacuated by the unregulated private operator and taken and dumped in open areas, which is dangerous from environment point of view as well as from public health. So we created evidence. So very, very important for all of us is to be scientific, but also evidence based. There's no point in shouting कि ये problem है. You need to gather evidence, you need to gather data, and then use this material. Then we went to the city mayor, we went to the state. Next slide. Then we analyze the samples of this. Now septage varies from the biological oxygen demand as a pollution, as an indicator of pollution, varies from 5,000 to 25,000 milligrams per liter, whereas conventional sewage, a city sewage, is about 250 milligrams per liter. You see the order of difference. If this 5,000 to 25,000 milligram liter septage is dumped in drains, in water bodies, the amount of destruction, pollution that can happen is phenomenal. Next slide. On top of it, it has a lot of pathogens, virus, bacteria, then all sorts of nasty ingredients which can come back and hit us. There's also evidence. Now we are doing some work on sewage surveillance for coronavirus, which I will discuss. If some of you are interested, I will speak later. But so what we are trying to do is we gathered evidence from this case study of one city. Next. And we also try to develop some material to communicate to the policy makers that we said one truck of latrine sludge carelessly dumped is equal to 15 people shitting in the open. While all of us are trying to eliminate open defecation, but by allowing this activity, unregulated activity, then it is as good as institutionalized open defecation. You get my point? So this is used for advocacy point of view, and then we helped the city governments to come up with the right kind of policies. Next slide. We also told them that, if you don't deal with it, a lot of deaths happen. People getting into septic tanks without proper personal protective equipment. In fact, a lot of people die. We unfortunate that even now in 2021, more number of people die getting into septic tanks for evacuation, the waste, than soldiers on the border. So many deaths happen every year, which is very, very unfortunate. So we used this data to communicate that we need to do something about it. Next slide. So we came up with this program called Fecal Sludge and Septage Management. We started in Warangal, where we told the city that, this is a problem we need to attend. It's great you have done ODF, but we need to do what is called ODF plus plus. This word ODF plus plus came much later for the government of India. We started a little ahead of time. So it is ODF is not good enough. We need to do ODF plus plus, which is about integrated safe sanitation. It means it's not just about toilet provision, but the waste has to be properly collected, waste has to be properly transported and treated and recycled. This is the program of ODF plus plus. It is beyond toilets. Next slide. So just to give you some terminology for the benefit, जो सेप्टिक टैंक्स और जो ऑन साइट टॉयलेट्स के अंदर जो स्टेबलाइज होते हुए पार्शियली स्टेबलाइज्ड मटेरियल होता है, ह्यूमन वेस्ट एंड एनल वॉशिंग, ऑल दिस वेस्ट इज कॉल्ड सेप्टेज और फीकल स्लज. This sludge has high pollution potential, which is taken out by private unregulated desludges, and that is what we are trying to make it. We are trying to find solutions. It is beyond toilets that we are looking at right now. Next. So while we were working with city level, we started making noise at the state level, at the national level, and without cutting the story short, not about ASCI alone, but we partnered with a number of institutions, and in 2017, national government recognized the importance of this and introduced national policy on fecal sludge and septage management. In 2021, when Swachh Bharat mission was announced in the last budget session, Honorable Finance Minister, her opening statement is, toilets are not good enough, we need to go beyond toilets, and she has earmarked budgets for fecal sludge and septage management. So we build evidence, create an impact at the local level, amplify, make noise, communicate, share, and then help create national policy. Now, national policy means, national budgets means it will go to multiple geographies. That is very, very important for all of you. Next. Next. Yeah. So the journey is no longer ODF now in India. India is one of the first country to recognize this, that ODF is good enough. Now we have to go to ODF plus plus, which is about fecal sludge and septage management and wastewater management. So a lot of traction has come in a short span of 3 years. In a short span of 3 years, these policies have come, budgetary allocations are happening. So that's what I meant by an idea can be taken to scale by working with various stakeholders. Next slide. Let me just give you, for example, this is much before national government came up. The Telangana government has come up with fecal sludge and septage management. Of course, it was released in 2018, but it was introduced in 2016, and the work has begun in 2016. So it was given to NGT, National Green Tribunal. So National Green Tribunal is now speaking about this. So the secretary, principal secretary, has taken this message to the NGT, and NGT is now amplifying it. And that's very, very important. Dissemination is very, very important. Next. So what we did in Warangal, just to give you the story, to complete the story, we came up with a city policy. When the national policy was not there, state policy was not there, we started in a city. We said there are about 9 components. To cut the story, I mean, given the time, the policy had 9 critical building blocks. हम बोलते हैं. एक तो पहले toilet construction सही होना चाहिए, because design, if the design is bad, the pollution is more. So the design and construction of on-site system should be regulated. That's the component of the policy. Second component of the policy is insanitary toilets. जो toilets जो घर बना दिया, और वो एक छोटा सा नाला लेके डायरेक्टली ड्रेन में छोड़ देते हैं इनसैनिटरी टॉयलेट्स को. इसको कन्वर्शन करना है. सो वी came up with a policy framework which will strengthen and reduce the pollution and environmental quality improvement program is what this policy is about. Now, how we operationalized? Next slide. I'm rushing it for want of time, but see ये जो बोलते हैं सेप्टिक टैंक, कई इंजीनियर्स जो आपने इसको ऑन साइट सेप्टिक टैंक, ये सही डिजाइन नहीं किया तो जो बाहर निकलता है वो बहुत गंदा होता है पानी. So we have to educate masons, we have to educate city governments, we have to educate households की सही ढंग से इसको सेप्टिक टैंक. कहीं जगह पे जो है वो बैफिल वॉल है, बीच का जो वॉल है वो बनाते नहीं. आप भी देख सकते हैं, कोई भी आपका ज्योग्राफी देख लीजिए, कहीं पे भी ये बैफिल वॉल बनता नहीं है. उसके वजह से डायरेक्टली जो है फीसिस पूरा गटर में आ जाएगा, ड्रेन में आ जाएगा. उसके वजह से हेल्थ और एनवायरमेंटल प्रॉब्लम. So this design improvement is the first and the foremost thing that we educated masons, दो जो टॉयलेट बनाते हैं घर में. Next slide. So septic tanks awareness creation, how it should be done, what should be the code of practice. There is a code called 27 Bureau of Indian Standard 2740 का कोड, इसके कोई जानता ही नहीं, म्यूनसिपैलिटी में किसी को भी जानकारी नहीं. So ये कोड के लिए समझाना है, उसके बाद मेसन्स को एजुकेट करना है. नेक्स्ट स्लाइड. ये पूरा हमने किया. इसका इमीडिएट बेनिफिट आपको दिख सकता है. नेक्स्ट स्लाइड. ये डूस एंड डोंट्स, ये डूस एंड डोंट्स ऑफ बिल्डिंग ए टॉयलेट कोई बोलता ही नहीं, हम छोड़ देते हैं मेसन के ऊपर. सो हाउ द टॉयलेट हैज टू बी बिल्ड, हाउ द सेप्टिक टैंक हैज टू बी बिल्ड, दिस हैज टू बी एजुकेटेड. दिस आर नाउ, दिस इज अ पार्ट ऑफ द पॉलिसी, द स्टेट पॉलिसी एज वेल एज द सिटी पॉलिसी. हर जो इंदौर में सेग्रीगेशन कैसा करना है गार्बेज के लिए, ऐसा ही टॉयलेट कैसे बनाना है, ये बहुत ही ज़रूरी है. और ये नेशनल प्रोग्राम में भी आ चुका है अभी, जो स्वच्छ भारत मिशन में. नेक्स्ट. ये इंडिया में नहीं है, दूसरा देश में, ये ऑस्ट्रेलिया का है. ये पिक्चर ऑस्ट्रेलिया विच इज कंसिडर्ड टू बी ए डेवलप्ड वर्ल्ड, इवन दे हैव सेप्टिक टैंक्स एंड द लोकल गवर्नमेंट ऑर्गेनाइजेस ए हेल्पलाइन. वो कॉल सेंटर लगा के they will educate the citizens, educate the stakeholders about how to build a scientifically proper septic tank so that the pollution doesn't go out. Next slide. उसके बाद हमने ये जो मेसन्स होते हैं शहरों में जो टॉयलेट्स बनाते हैं, उनको एम्पैनलमेंट किया, रेगुलेट किया. So only those empaneled masons are trained and they only can build Swachh Bharat toilets, not anyone and everyone. This is very very important. So ये ट्रेनिंग प्रोग्राम बना दिया. उसके बाद लोकल लैंग्वेज में उनको समझाना चाहिए, फील्ड लेवल का ट्रेनिंग किया है ताकि ये जो इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर बनेगी वो सही ढंग से होगी. नेक्स्ट स्लाइड. नेक्स्ट स्लाइड. उसके बाद उनको एम्पैनल किया है. ये तो टॉयलेट हो गया. टॉयलेट के बाद जो ट्रकर्स होते हैं, ट्रक जो डीस्लर्जिंग ट्रक्स, उनको सबको एम्पैनल किया है, मींस लाइसेंस दिया गया, विच वाज अनरेगुलेटेड, नाउ दे हैव बीन रेगुलेटेड. और उनको जो है 2015-16 में पूरा ट्रेनिंग किया है. उसके बाद पर्सनल प्रोटेक्टिव इक्विपमेंट वो भी उनको दिया है. इट्स मैंडेटरी नाउ. नाउ ड्यूरिंग द कोविड, नाउ वी टॉक अबाउट PPE, बट these are frontline workers, frontline champions. If they are not protected, then our public health is at risk. So there have been the standard operating procedures and PPEs. The city government gives them free of cost. So regulating them and then giving them this personal protective equipment, this is very very important. Next. उसके बाद ये जो डीस्लर्जेस ट्रक्स होते हैं, उसको GPS लगा दिया गया है ताकि they should not go anywhere they want. They have to go to a designated area and decant it. Decant means discharge. So otherwise what they do, they generally go shortcut लेके वहाँ पे तालाब है उसमें डाल दिए, which is not right. And this happens across the country, mind you. Even now it is happening. Just now I got delayed because I was interacting with 80 desludging unions in Hyderabad on this issue. In the city of Hyderabad, there are, you won't believe, 400 trucks moving. Each truck picks up on an average 3 loads. उनका डिमांड है 3 into 400, 1200 ट्रक का जो सेप्टेज है ह्यूमन फीसिस goes into Thalaba water bodies and open area. Delhi has 500 trucks, for your information, unregulated. So this is a hidden problem. That is why advocacy is important. जो आप fellows है, young scholars है, you should be exposed to these hidden problems. These are environmental problems. So regulating them through introducing GPS so that they don't deviate. हमारा एक छोटा सा कॉल सेंटर है, वहां पे देखते रहता है कि कौन डिविएट कर रहा है फ्रॉम द एस्टैब्लिश्ड रूट. नेक्स्ट, उसके बाद एक मोबाइल ऐप बहुत ही जरूरी है. इफ दे टेक अ ऑर्डर इन अ पर्टिकुलर हाउस, every 3 years septic tank has to be cleaned. Means it has to be like हमारा जो overhead tanks होते हैं पानी के लिए 3 महीना 6 महीने को क्लीन करना चाहिए. Otherwise it will accumulate lot of dangerous stuff. Nobody does even at homes. Nowadays हम bottle का पानी या filtered water पीते हैं, मगर जो overhead tanks में पानी है उसको 3 महीने को 6 महीने मिनिमम 3 महीने को एक बार क्लीन करना चाहिए टैंक. Urban claps offer this service of cleaning of overhead tanks costing 1,000 rupees. So it's a big activity. Similarly, septic tanks have to be cleaned once in 3 years. Nobody does. So you need to have a regulatory system, and that is what this mobile app is all about. It automatically sends, like हम जो अभी कोविड का टीका लिया है, फर्स्ट डोज लिया है, सेकेंड डोज के लिए मैसेज आ रहा है मेरे को that you are due for second dose. Likewise, if a household has desludged or today, after 3 years or before 3 years, it will send an alert to them that your tank is ready for desludging. That is the purpose of this mobile app. Next slide. ये बहुत प्रैक्टिकल चीज है, ये थियरी नहीं है, बहुत ही प्रैक्टिकल है. उसके बाद ये वेस्ट कहाँ जाएगा? Where does this waste go? So there we establish treatment systems. There are different treatment technologies where both internationally, India में हमने कहीं इसके ऊपर रिसर्च किया है और ट्रीटमेंट प्लांट्स डिफरेंट ऑप्शंस है. मैं थोड़ा एक्सप्लेन करता हूँ. नेक्स्ट स्लाइड. दिस इज द फर्स्ट प्लांट विथ गेट्स फाउंडेशन का थोड़ा सपोर्ट लेके हमने शहर में बना दिया एक छोटा सा 15 KLD का. इट्स अबाउट 5 trucks per day. दिस इज अ वेरी वेरी हाई एंड डिजाइन हमने किया है थोड़ा फंडिंग लेके और पायलट के लिए. वी रोट अ प्रपोजल, देन वी गॉट इट बिकॉज नोबडी बिलीव्स दिस, नोबडी थिंक्स दिस इज अ प्रॉब्लम. सो नो गवर्नमेंट स्कीम में है नहीं इसका. सो वी हैव टू गो फॉर एक्सटर्नल फंडिंग टू गेट दिस डिजाइन. दिस इज अ पायरोलिसिस यूनिट. इट मीन्स जो स्लड आता है, जो टंकी में जो स्लड जाता है उसमें हम डिकैंट करते हैं लिक्विड को और सॉलिड को सेपरेट करते हैं. जो लिक्विड ट्रीटमेंट विल गो फॉर लिक्विड सोफिस्टिकेटेड लिक्विड ट्रीटमेंट सिस्टम. जो स्लज होता है वो डी वाटरिंग होके उसके बाद एक 800 डिग्रीज के टेम्परेचर पे हम उसको बर्न करते हैं कंट्रोल्ड ऑक्सीजन में. दैट्स व्हाई इट्स कॉल्ड पायरोलिसिस. व्हाट यू गेट इज अ बायोचार. चार, इट्स नथिंग बट अ पाउडर. नाउ व्हाट इज द एडवांटेज? जो ह्यूमन फीसिस में जो पैथोजेंस होता है उसमें पूरा दे विल बी कंप्लीटली फिनिश्ड because we are operating at a very high temperature. This is a first pyrolysis unit in the country which has been established. Now looking at this, now tell you the story of how scale happens. Next slide. There's another plant which we have set up in Warangal. These are all pilot projects. 10 KLD plant. This is called geobag. So it means the waste comes, it goes into the bag और बैग विल सेपरेट लिक्विड एंड सॉलिड. इट इज लाइक ए जो हम क्या पनीर को करते हैं, पनीर और जो निकालते हैं, the paneer is sitting here and then the liquid is going out. It's a bad comparison, but it's the same thing. The solids are stayed in the bag. It's a one-way route. Only liquid will come out and the liquid goes for liquid treatment. Solids are retained in the bag. After 40 days we open up and then check for quality and then we use it for as fertilizer. Completely zero liquid discharge facilities. दोनों भी. You can see one plant pyrolysis, another plant. So it's an innovation hub. हमने साइट चूज किया इनोवेशंस के. So इसमें कोई minimum electricity, it's all gravity based system. So this is called FSTP, fecal sludge treatment plant based on geobag technology. Now why I'm telling this is very important. Now these pilots got, when we invited Mantri ji for inauguration, when we invited all of them, they saw अरे बहुत ही सस्ता है और बहुत ही cheap है. This problem of dumping is prevalent in all the towns. Why not we replicate in all the towns? That's how it has. That's how I went for a meeting today, came rushing to, we have established one unit in Hyderabad, 40 KLD. Just last week it was inaugurated by Honorable Minister of Telangana, KT Ramarao. Now we have to organize all the desludgers to go there. That was the issue. So they were saying कि थोड़ा दूर पड़ेगा, हमको another plant चाहिए nearby. So they want multiple plants around the city so that the transportation cost comes down. Very practical. Scale automatically happens when the policy makers, practitioners see, it is a very effective solution. Now next slide I will show you. This has been replicated in 141 towns in Telangana as I speak, and 110 towns in Andhra. Next slide. And ये भी जो है, this is a technology, I don't want to bore you. This is the process I have given. I will share with you the slides. What we get is a clear water and biosolids which can go for agriculture. जो plant में greenery है, पूरा इसके वजह से greenery है. हम आजकल vegetables भी grow कर रहे हैं to show that it is safe. So we collaborated with the local university, agriculture university. They are doing some very interesting work. Next slide. Now every desludger, it is mandatory. Every desludger they have to wear PPE. Otherwise they will lose the license. Their load will not be accepted in the plant without a PPE kit. Without helmet se leke, goggles se leke, juta should be there, no chappal, which is a common practice. So this is another, I don't want to bore you with all the technical stuff. Next slide. So we have done in Hyderabad now. Hyderabad already 20 million liters of septage, nasty septage. Now it is already 33 million liters of septage has been treated. Now there's a demand is increasing. So desludgers are also asking, please put up more plants, because instead of going to far off places, I want to take it to the nearby FST. Next. This is another fancy one we are experimenting now. This was implemented in one place in Seattle. You can see Mr. Bill Gates is drinking the sewage water. You can see the insert. He's drinking the water coming out of this. So this is called omniprocessor technology. The idea is that 100% recycling of this water can happen. जो हमारा गंदा पानी है, हमारा जो ह्यूमन फीसिस तो जो हम टॉयलेट में छोड़ देते हैं, उसको 100% रिसाइकिल करके, if not for potable, we can take it for non-potable applications to that extent. But it is ultra pure. Next slide. Very important in this, we undermine, और ये बहुत ही जरूरी है. हम जो टेक्निकल है सोचते हैं कि technology can fix everything. Nothing will fix. Technology is only a small piece. Behavior change, communication is the most important thing. So we ran with BBC Media, जो एक संस्था है BBC का जो इंडिया बेस्ड है, उनके साथ कैंपेन किया है. Next slide. They came up with some very good design called Malasur. Malasur is Mal Asur. So this Malasur, you can see the demon is sitting in under your house. If you don't evacuate this fellow, he is going to attack you. This is all in local language. It's contaminated. It's going to contaminate your water body. हम ये जो मेयर साहब को दिखाया था, मेयर साहब बोला है कि चारी साहब ये ठीक नहीं है, वो मलासुर थोड़ा क्यूट लग रहा है. He is looking very cute. Make him ugly. Put some flies. So those 2 flies you saw, it's an idea of our mayor of Warangal. This was now this Malasur. Then you can see there is a truck, empaneled truck with a call center number. So the citizen can call this number so that Malasur can be taken out and jailed in FSTP. That is the campaign. He's a criminal, he should be jailed. Generally, men are criminals, so that's why I'm using the word he. So you can see this campaign was very, very effective. This campaign is used by national government now under Safai Mitra challenge, the same campaign. Because if a good idea is there, states are willing to take it, national government is also willing to take it. Next slide. And we are also creating awareness कि घर घर में जो है कितना कैसे करना है, otherwise you will be drinking your own bloody shit if you don't have these do's and don'ts. So we are creating lot of pamphlets and lot of design tools so that every citizen is aware of not just about segregation of garbage, which is often we hear about, but this is equally important from environment and public health point of view. This is just an illustration. So that's it, ma'am. You can remove it. We can have a conversation and then I will just summarize. I have another one on water, but I will not bore you right now. Time is limited, but I will just summarize it that as young professionals, we can remove it. So this whole exercise is to protect water bodies and protect public health. So going back, if you have an idea, we start with advocacy, but evidence-based advocacy. Then create material to disseminate. That's the second thing that we did. Reach out to identify who are the influential stakeholders and reach out to them. Then they will say, oh, this is all great, but can you demonstrate? That's where piloting is important. Once you establish these pilots, then we create noise around this pilot, amplify the importance of this pilot, not just for the sake of it, but to show its relevance and importance, and then you scale up. We didn't make much effort in scaling up. Scaling up has happened thanks because of the good pilots and getting the right stakeholders. We don't call treatment plant. हमारा जो FSTP है, fecal sludge treatment plant, it is called sanitation resource park. हर जगह पे जो है sanitation resource park, and it is really a park. You will not get smell. We took children, we took media professional, we took politicians, we took desludgers, and today in fact, the meeting today was to take 80 desludgers to one of our treatment plants so that they see what actually this is happening. When they see this, the minister said, let's replicate. The bureaucrat said, let's replicate. So without much effort, this replication has happened very, very fast. So I request you that go with scientific temperament, but don't only be biased towards engineering and technical. You need to bring science, social engineering aspects also. You need behavior change communication. You need stakeholder engagement. You need to know how to communicate to politicians, communicate to media professionals. These are very, very important as part of young professionals. आप जितना भी IIT का हो या कहीं का भी हो, आप टेक्निकली साउंड हो, जो भी है, इंजीनियर हो या प्लानर हो, जो भी हो, but if you don't have these skill sets, then our impact will be suboptimal. So my message is that you need to be well-rounded in your as a professional if you want to be in this development sector, particularly in water and sanitation field. It is very, very sticky issues. So that's why you need to be in these workshops. These boot camps are very, very building blocks, milestones in your career, and I encourage all of you to give complete attention to some of these conversations. It will help you. You may not realize now, but 5 years down the line, you will remember what Alkaji has done or what I am trying to communicate to you. I was also an engineer. I always believed that design is the only thing. It is not. There are many other aspects that we need to take into consideration in a real life situation. And same story, Alkaji knows, in hand washing, in wash in school, we went through the same struggle. एक idea लेके फिर उसके बाद we reached out to 6 lakh schools in the country through Ministry of HRD. So every idea we can go to scale provided we have that scientific temperament, but also well-rounded understanding of stakeholder engagement, behavior change, communication, and related issues. Thank you very much for this opportunity. Uh, and I would be very happy to take any questions.
Yeah,
Thank you so much, sir. So now we are open for the question session. Follows, you can ask the question from sir. Yeah, Bhavna, you want to ask? Bhavna?
Apurva
Okay.
from Nagpur, somebody wants to speak.
Apurva, you can go ahead.
Yes, sir. So my question is, in your slides you mentioned about the FSTP is based on thermal technology. Uh,
Yes.
so, sir, Indore is in Indore in their solid waste management they are using this technique,
Correct.
pyrolysis technique. So, sir, my question is that how you came up with the idea of FSTP with the usage of this thermal technology.
हमारा जो जनरली क्या होता है कि एनी ट्रीटमेंट यू नीड टू हैव ए डिजाइन फिलॉसफी और आपका फिलॉसफी क्या है. The philosophy that we have taken was not just organic pollution reduction. Our philosophy was pathogen reduction. So if I go for only biological treatment, the pathogens are there in the sludge.
Yes.
And that sludge is again discharged into जो poor farmers को देते हैं या कहीं फेंक देते हैं. इवन अभी भी होता है. आप नागपुर से आप नागपुर म्युनिसिपल कॉर्पोरेशन का एसटीपीज देख के एक बार विजिट करिए, वो पूछिए कि स्लड्ज क्या होता है वहाँ. तो स्लड्ज जनरली दे सेल इट टू सम पीपल विदाउट प्रॉपर ट्रीटमेंट. सो हमने हमारा डिजाइन फिलॉसफी में पहले से ही हम सोच रखा है कि पहले पैथोजन को एलिमिनेट करेंगे. दैट्स नंबर 1. नेक्स्ट इज ऑर्गेनिक पोल्यूशन एंड देन थर्ड इज अदर इंग्रेडिएंट्स जो भी है. सो बिकॉज ऑफ दैट वी वेंट फॉर पायरोलिसिस. Otherwise it's not required. If I am only complying with the CPHEO or CPCB norms की BOD इतना होना चाहिए, COD इतना, TSS इतना, then this is not required. But हमारा डिजाइन थिंकिंग था कि इसमें nasty pathogens है, like जो अभी हम कोरोना की बात करते हैं, ऐसा ही nasty viruses बैक्टीरिया है, उसको एलिमिनेट करेंगे. उसके लिए पायरोलिसिस हमने सोचा.
सर वन मोर क्वेश्चन आई वांटेड टू आस्क. सर ये जो टेक्निक है सर इट इज इनोवेटिव टेक्निक और
You
इट
are
हैज बीन
speaking to a
इंस्पायर्ड.
South. You are speaking to a South Indian in Hindi, so you have to go slow. I can go, but yeah. Please go ahead. I understand. Yeah.
Sorry, sir.
No, it's
So
all
my
right.
question was that this technique which you are implementing, it is totally innovative technique or like it has been inspired by some developed countries or
No,
you have gone through.
see, this is a India-based technique. I mean, there's nothing
Okay.
like. I mean, in developed country, this on-site septic tank थोड़ा कम है. वहाँ पे problem उतना नहीं है, because everywhere they put sewer systems.
Yes.
So it is a problem of Africa, it is a problem of China, it is a problem of India predominantly. China is also going for sewer systems. हमारे पास उतना पानी नहीं है, पैसा नहीं है, so we go for this on-site system. So it is very much a emerging economy problem. So the technology is also provided by a Bangalore-based company, a startup. It's very much Indian homegrown. Of course, they have discussed वो जो pyrolysis है वो technology थोड़ा internationally very matured है. The reason I'll tell you, we want to make the plant zero energy neutral. What is energy neutrality? Even without having electricity connection, I should run the plant. How do I do it? जो हम pyrolysis में burn करते हैं, human feces का sludge को burn करते हैं, like charcoal, it generates lot of heat. That heat is captured in the plant and that heat is used for various applications within the plant. उसके लिए जो कंपनी जो है थोड़ा इंटरनेशनल कोलैबोरेशन किया है, heat transfers and other things, but otherwise it's a homegrown solution.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. It was very excellent presentation, and we got to know very much new things and new concept that actually being implemented. And we were not having this information regarding it. And I really want to thank ma'am Alka ma'am, for this your presentation. It was very much helpful.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Now Badal will ask a question.
Yes.
Badal, go ahead.
Yeah, good evening, sir. First of all, thank you for the presentation with so much of energy at the end of the day. Also, with such
उसके
high
बारे में
level of
don't come
energy.
to me. That's why nobody works with me.
Okay,
No,
sir.
please,
But
please go ahead.
it's really
Yeah.
a good thing to so much energetic even at the end of the day.
Yes.
Sir,
बताइए
I
बताइए.
want to ask question regarding the biocar that was generated in the pyrolysis unit. So, what you do with that biocar?
Yeah. So we have done the analysis of the biochar. Basically, it is carbon, silica, and grit. Little bit of grit. So it is not. There are two applications we are doing. Local NIT है हमारा वारंगल national जो National Institute of Technology वारंगल और local एक engineering college. They are making bricks. वो बायोचार का ब्रिक्स बनाते हैं. ये जो हमारा कंपाउंड वॉल बना है, जो प्लांट का कंपाउंड वॉल एसटीपी एफएसटीपी का पूरा ये ब्रिक्स पूरा कंपाउंड वॉल उसके माध्यम से हुआ है. दैट इज नंबर 1. नंबर 2, biochar is a good soil conditioner. It's not a fertilizer. It doesn't have the fertilizer properties, but it is a good soil conditioner. It is used as a soil conditioner to enrich a little bit on the carbon content side. So these are the two applications that currently we are using. It is like जो आजकल हम यूज करते हैं कंस्ट्रक्शन एंड डेमोलिशन वेस्ट बोलते हैं, CND वेस्ट, जो म्युनिसिपल गार्बेज से निकलता है. नाउ दैट कंस्ट्रक्शन एंड डेमोलिशन इज वेस्ट इज कन्वर्टेड इनटू पेवर ब्लॉक्स बोलते हैं, जो रोड के ऊपर फुटपाथ्स पेवर ब्लॉक्स बोलते हैं वो बनाते हैं. लाइकवाइज we are converting this biochar into bricks for compound walls and such facilities.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. Sir, I have one more question. Sir, regarding the toilets that were being constructed with the subsidies through the government of India, so there is a specific design for those toilets, and there was no septic tanks in those toilets, and there is no such like discharge unit where the fecal material will go away. So, are these toilets are safe for the groundwater and for all other like sanitation practices?
So जो स्वच्छ भारत के अंदर टॉयलेट्स बनाए हैं, दे हैव गिवन 2 ऑप्शंस. एक तो है दिस सब्सिडी जो एडिशनल सेंट्रल असिस्टेंट, उसके लिए 2 ऑप्शंस दिए गए हैं गाइडलाइंस में. फर्स्ट वन इज ट्विन पिट टॉयलेट, जो जहाँ पे स्पेस कम है या ग्राउंड वाटर टेबल बहुत नीचे है, ग्राउंड वाटर ऊपर नहीं है बट नीचे है, वहाँ पे 2 पिट्स टॉयलेट मीन्स the waste will go into one pit. After 6 months you divert it to the second pit. The first pit will be there for 5 to 6 months in the same location so that it becomes stabilized and will become a good nutrient value. The second pit will continue to receive. This is one. But in urban areas, particularly dense areas, उतना स्पेस होता नहीं है 2 पिट्स बनाने के लिए with sufficient maintenance of the distance. So people opt for what is called a septic tank. सेप्टिक टैंक इज मिडिल क्लास, थोड़ा एस्पिरेशनल है. जो स्लम्स में होते हैं वो पिट टॉयलेट्स बनाते हैं, whereas aspirational toilet is a little bit of septic tank for middle class and upper middle class. Now the septic tank is also recommended under Swachh Bharat Mission. The problem is it is a recommendation, nobody reads, और वो मेसन तक जाता ही नहीं है. वो हमारे पास सब्सिडी आ गया, फिर उसके बाद वो मेसन बना दिया. So your question is whether groundwater contamination happens because it is not properly constructed. So there is a potential groundwater contamination. The supernatant will go directly without proper baffling. Baffle क्यों बनाते हैं हम लोग? ताकि suspended solids है, feces जो है वो settle हो. But if there is no baffle or if it's not well designed, the wastewater with all these feces will go into the nalas and drains. So that is where sometimes we in India the problem is our design is only at a very high level. जो काम करता है वो मेसन है, जो नीचे काम करते हैं उनको स्किलिंग होता नहीं. They learn from generational experience but not always as per the design. So that skilling investment in that is very important, and that's what हमने एक ट्रेनिंग किट बना दिया उसके लिए ताकि हर एक मेसन जो है वरंगल या तेलंगाना में अभी वो ट्रेन हो रहे हैं. It will also get jobs, create jobs.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. I think it's fine. If there's no other question here, this is, yeah, as Badal said, very nicely, because they all have been sitting since morning for a session which started with JS Water Energy to Plan India, and then with Tata Trust, and then now your session. It's quite, but it's a very, it's by design. Every session falls into another session very, very easily. It's a very nice transition that happens with each and every session of these workshops. But thank you very much, Professor Chary. We wanted you exactly for the purpose that we were talking about, the scale part of it. And in fact, let me share that there was another project that we were doing where we had given 10 grants to 10 youth groups earlier, along with the PVR cinemas and Plan India. And they were supported with their social innovation projects on a lot of range of it under 5 thematic areas, and wonderful experiments came out. And when you said the startup for scale, maybe later separately we will discuss that in terms of how do we take to another level, because where youth groups from different colleges and everywhere came together and worked substantially, and a 5 lakh of grant was given to them by this initiative to work on. And in fact, I don't know whether you remember or know that earlier, very early, in like 15, 20 years before, I had actually evaluated NGC national, this one, NGC, what was it called? Nimal Gram Puraskar. So Nimal Gram Puraskar was evaluated by us under for DDWS and UNICEF, trying to look at the slippage part of it. So 664 Gram Panchayat who were declared Nimal were assessed in terms of their slippage, in terms of a lot of things altogether. And Germany schemes, so a lot of things are there. And yes, it has been a journey, but we all look forward to kind of work that you do. So Parul, if you want to close it, and
Yes,
thank
ma'am.
you very much for your session. And I want fellows to stay for the assessment, and then only later IP University fellows will stay. Yeah, Parul, go ahead.
Okay, ma'am. So thank you, sir, for insight on need for water sanitization and hygiene in our country. It was an excellent and very informative presentation. Your thoughts have enlightened our mind, and this will surely be going to encourage our future us in our future events. We are very grateful to have you today with us. Thanks for being with us despite of your very busy schedule. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. All the best. Do well.
And I have given him a
Thank you, sir.
nickname of Leopard. Leopard. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.